What is going on, guys? Welcome back. So today we are looking at the Hohem iSteady Pro. It's a gimbal from Hohem. I bought it a couple of months back, so I've had a couple of months to try it out and play with it and have my thoughts on it. So for those of you who don't know, in relation to a camera, a gimbal is a supportive device that will basically allow you to keep the camera steady whilst you're moving, so you get nice smooth shots. As I said, I've been using it for a month or two, so I do have some pros and cons. First of all, let's take a look at the footage that I shot with it, and then we'll look at the functions, and then finally finish on my pros and cons. So this first shot, I was just holding the camera out in front of me with the normal GoPro handle, running along, so you can see it's quite bumpy footage. So this next shot, I'm doing the exact same action but holding the gimbal, so you can see it smooth out all those bumps. I mean, the difference is night and day. You can see it next to each other here, really bumpy on the left and nice and smooth on the right, so it makes a huge difference. In this next shot, you see me just camera facing towards me. You're getting all those bumps from the ground coming through, giving really shaky footage. Again, this one with the gimbal, it's a world of difference. You can see just how smooth that is. I'm running along just the same sort of terrain, so it's really smoothed out my video. I'm really happy with the result on that shot actually. That's really good. Again, we can see them next to each other, so you can see the difference, worlds apart. This next one, I'm actually running like I normally run, so I'm swinging my arms back and forth. That's with the normal GoPro handle. Pretty unusable footage. This one here, you wouldn't believe that I was swinging my arm back and forth. You can kind of see where the camera stops as my body catches forward with it, but that's unbelievable that the gimbal can do that, to be honest. I was amazed when that shot came out. That basically allows me to run normally, swinging my arms and still getting some great footage. So the Hohem is pretty basic in design. You've got a power button to turn on here. If you click once, it will show you the battery life left, and if you hold it down, it will power up the gimbal. Here we have the mode button, and there are 4 modes to choose from. You can click once, twice, 3 or 4 times to choose your mode. The selected mode will flash in the mode light here if you forget how many times you pressed. Also, there is a list of 4 modes next to the mode button to help you out as well. Before I move on to the modes, I'll briefly talk through the other functions. So you've got the joystick here that can be used to move the camera manually, up, down, left, right. There's also what is known as the hotkey here. So holding it up and releasing the F1 there will recenter the camera anytime. Holding down the F2 will lock the camera in position. When you release that, the camera will get back to its normal position. There's a light here to indicate when the Bluetooth is activated, but I'll come on to that later. On the side here is a 1/4 inch screw for extension pieces, and on the bottom here we have another one which is used predominantly for the provided mini tripod, which is cool. There's also a charging point for the gimbal here, and next to it a USB charging point that you can use for charging other things from your gimbal, so like your phone or anything like that, so you can use your gimbal as like a battery pack essentially. Lastly, there is a camera charging point up here, though that's not that all useful for a lot of cameras, as it can sort of get blocked and is not on the right side, etc, etc. Okay, so let's go on to the modes. If we select mode 1 by clicking once, this is known as pan following, and this is like your default mode. Your tilt and roll axes are both locked, so the camera is always going to stay upright. However, you can move left and right smoothly. Click twice and you're into mode 2. This is known as pan and tilt following, so your roll axis is locked this time. This means the camera will pretty much follow the orientation of the handle, except it will not roll onto its side if you twist the handle that way. 3 clicks gets you into mode 3, and this is known as all locked. So your tilt, roll and pan axis are all locked. So whatever position your camera is facing, it will remain facing that way regardless of how you move the gimbal handle. You can twist, turn left, right, your camera's always going to face one direction. Finally, mode 4, which you get to with 4 clicks. This is indicated with a long flash instead of the 4 flashes. This mode is known as all following, and all the axes are functioning here. So no matter how I move the gimbal, the camera is going to follow. The last thing on here is the joystick, which can be used to manually move the camera, just to make adjustments when you need to quickly. So you can move left, right, up or down, just to tweak your shots a little bit. Okay, so let's go back and talk about one great feature of the Hohem iSteady Pro, and that is that it comes with an app. This app allows you to have complete control over the sensitivity of the gimbal. So if you want the camera to move slower or faster when you turn it, you can do that. You can also reverse the joystick directions and control the joystick remotely as well. So this is all operated via Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth light on your gimbal will activate when you're connected to your phone. So that pretty much sums up the Hohem iSteady Pro. On the surface it seems to provide everything I need, but would I recommend you to go and buy one yourself? Let's take a look at my pros and cons of the Hohem iSteady Pro. Firstly, it's lightweight, so it's 491 grams with my GoPro attached, so that's roughly the same weight as carrying a 500ml bottle of water. Number 2, the functionality. The functions are simple and clear, they're basic but cover most of what you need. Number 3, it's cheap. I don't think you're going to find a cheaper gimbal out there. I got this on deal for roughly £60, which is really cheap for a gimbal. Number 4 is battery life. It should hold around 12 hours of battery, which I think is pretty good for a gimbal. Number 5, it's fully adjustable. So with the app, you have custom controls over the settings and the sensitivity, which I think is essential. So I think that's a really good thing to have. Number 6 is the mini tripod. I love this little thing, this is great. So it allows you to do low down shots without having to put your camera on the floor, and quick videos by standing it on the table. I think it makes a really nice addition. Taking a quick look at the cons then, number 1 is the size. So this somewhat contradicts my lightweight argument, but it is bulky. There aren't many easy places for you to store it away if you don't want to hold it anymore. So on long runs I've found myself sort of getting frustrated at having it there. Even though it's lightweight, over a long time it can become to feel quite heavy. Number 2 is motor noise. It's not that noticeable when there's background noise or music, but if it's just me talking, the camera picks up the motor noise quite badly. Number 3 is that it reduces camera functions, so it can be hard to access the camera functions on my screen sometimes, and that's just because of how it's mounted. The other big thing is that I can't plug in my microphone whilst it's mounted, as the access port is blocked. So the camera can be flipped over to the other side, but then that means the power button is blocked, meaning I have to have the camera on the whole time. So I have to give up one thing or the other. That can be frustrating when I want to have clearer sound and have the microphone plugged in, but if we're talking about just shooting scenic videos on the run, that's not so much of an issue. So that's it for my pros and cons. So would I recommend buying this as a running gimbal? Well, yes and no. I'd say if you're looking for a gimbal to take on long runs of say 13 miles or more, and you don't have a simple way of storing it, and by that I mean some sort of pack that you can just put it straight in and out of without having to take off, I would say then no, this is probably not for you. But if you're looking for something to vlog with mostly and take on shorter runs and races into events, I don't think you can do a lot better than this for the money. If you don't already own an action camera and you're looking to start vlogging your runs, this might not be the best option for you. Another thing to look at would be something called the DJI Osmo Pocket Gimbal. It's a camera and gimbal combination. It's small and light, gets some seemingly good results. You will be dropping about £330 for that, but if you're looking to buy an action camera and a gimbal together, you would probably be looking at more than that anyway. So you can be the judge of whether you think the Hohem iSteady Pro is right for you or not. I'm really happy with the results. I think it's a great purchase for what I need. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've tried it, or if you've got any questions, put them down below and I'll answer them. For now though guys, please like and subscribe and share this video, and I will see you all very, very soon.